Howdy. Put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
The Michael Dukes Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Dukes Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms.
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
Take my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Oh, yeah, baby. Good morning. Welcome to the program. It is the Michael Dukes Show, and it is, yes, you heard it right. You heard it here first. Firearms Friday. Your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature right here on the old radio broadcast. It's what I like to call my weekly therapy session, where I get a chance to talk about, a topic that I love, and talk about all the things that I think are important in regards to firearms, the Second Amendment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, that was a King and I reference for those of you who don't know. All right, so welcome back to the program for today. We got a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to be joined late in the program by our weekly guest, Willie Waffle from wafflemovies.com, who's coming on to talk about some movies, and especially the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Are you waiting for that? How many of you, show of hands, how many of you have seen the trailers for the movie The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and are ready to go watch it right now? That would be me. Me. I mean, first of all, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. Second of all, it's got Henry Cavill in it and Alan Ritchson and Carrie Ewells and, I mean, it's just, I can't wait. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, based on a true story, by the way. That's the interesting part. But I would watch anything that Guy Ritchie directed, including commercials. I have watched, in fact, commercials that Guy Ritchie have. He's a brilliant. He is a brilliant director. So we'll see what Willie thinks. That's coming up later in the program today, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. We got a whole bunch of headlines as well to cover from across the country. I mean, New Orleans, California, Tennessee, where was the other? Another California one, Washington, D.C. Anyway, there's all kinds of stuff to cover. But most importantly, the phone lines are open. There's the phone number. I'm just going to give it straight to you. 319-527-3864, 319-527-3864. If you would like to sound off, if you'd like to call in, do so now. 319-527-3864. Phone lines are open. Anything. There's no such thing as a dumb gun question. And we'll take any call that has anything to do with firearms or the Second Amendment, even tangentially. On a tangent. That's what it is. Is that on Netflix? No, it's at the theaters. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is only in theaters right now. But it might be worth going and seeing. I'm just saying. You may want to run over there and we'll find out. We'll see what Willie says. I'm hearing good things, though. I'm hearing lots of good things. I've been kind of perusing, keeping my eye, not looking. I don't want to get spoilers, so kind of looking off to the side at it, but I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. So I can't wait. I cannot wait. All right. So anyway, welcome up. Let's where do we want to start? You guys direct me this morning. I have got a whole slew of stories, including some great sound bites. Oh, we're going to get to the David Hogg smackdown here later on in the program. Don't you worry. Don't you? David Hogg and Spike Cohen, they faced off last week. Last week after the yes, last week they faced off, and oh baby, was there a smackdown? But it didn't come from Spike Cohen. I mean, Spike did very well. Don't get me wrong. In fact, what was ironic was that he was using a lot of the numbers and the metrics from BJ Campbell over at Hand Waving Freakoutery, but he forgot BJ's name. I don't know. Come on, Spike. Little attribution there. But no, David Hogg, he got the smackdown from a little 100-pound lady in the audience, soaking wet 100 pounds, I guarantee it. And it is, it's wow, it's gonna be good. Anyway, so we're gonna be doing that here in just a little bit. Then what do we got here? We got we're going to talk about Tennessee and their red flags. We're going to talk about the New Orleans shooting and California. Okay, so I got a bunch of stuff here that we're going to talk about. But first things first, if somebody wants to call in, well, let's start off with some phone calls, shall we? That sounds like the perfect way to start a Friday. It's my favorite thing. Let's go over here. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Michael. This is Larry in North Pole.
Hey, Larry. How are you doing?
Oh, okay. I guess I'm sitting here fixing to eat my bacon and eggs and figured I better give you a shout. I just want to remind people out there that you've got the gun show this weekend at the Carlson Center. And I'm kind of looking for something. Can I put that on the air and maybe somebody that has this item can bring it to the show?
I mean, if you want to tell somebody that you're looking for something and to bring it, I suppose you could. Just let them know. Okay. Bring it on.
I'm looking for 20. I'm looking for 22 Hornet brass, and or if they've got ammunition. And I'll have a table there, and I'm going to put a wanted list on the table so that if anybody's got that brass or any ammo they want to get rid of, I'd be happy to
pick
take
it
off
up
their hands.
Okay, Larry. All right.
But the gun show times are
10 to 6 on Saturday, 11 to 5 on Sunday.
All right.
So
and with that, I'll let you go, and I'll finish my breakfast and
enjoy
get my buns in gear here to go to work.
Enjoy. All right.
That nasty 4-lettered word that starts with a W.
I hate that thing. All right. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for the call. Yeah, I hate that thing called work, man. That's why I try and do stuff that's not really work, so it doesn't feel quite so bad or so dirty or so demeaning, right? A little bit. I try. So we're going to be out there this weekend at the Carlson Center for the outdoor show. And so feel free to come on out and say hi to us. The outdoor show is actually today, tomorrow, and Sunday, but I'm only going to be there Saturday and Sunday. So the Pioneer Room will be off to the side, and come on out and enjoy yourself. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic. Come on down. Let's do our thing here. All right. Wow. We got a whole thing going on. So where are we going to start? Well, I think we should start. I think we should start in the irony department. Let's start in the irony department with the city of Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, for those of you who didn't know. there's this thing called mediation. Have you ever heard of this? Right? I mean, this is something that sometimes a judge will say, you guys have got some, you're just basically arguing in a circle back and forth, and you need to be ordered into mediation, which is ostensibly trying to basically force some kind of compromise that both sides can live with, right? That's ostensibly what, mediation is for. The problem is that when you're talking about gun rights, we've already had a lot of stuff, we've already had a lot of stuff compromised away from us. And so we don't really feel like that's necessary. But it turns out that a judge in Nebraska feels like that's what's needed between Nebraska gun rights advocates and the city of Omaha. They have been ordered to enter mediation over various city firearms regulations that have been challenged as unlawful. Douglas County District Court Judge Leanne Serb, SRB. I have never seen a last name without a vowel in it. That's very interesting. Leanne Serb ordered the mediation last week. It was not requested by either party. This all comes from a lawsuit that the Nebraska Firearms Owner Association filed last December, claiming that Omaha's regulations banning bump stocks, ghost gun parts, and gun possession on city property are unlawful under, one, Nebraska's new constitutional carry laws. Now, here's what the interesting thing about this whole thing is. The state of Nebraska has a preemption law, meaning Omaha is ignoring Nebraska's preemption law, where it clearly states that local communities, local municipalities, local cities can't restrict the possessions of firearms except as prescribed by law in state law. It's a supremacy clause essentially for the state. A city cannot create, Alaska has the same thing. A city cannot create a gun law that is more restrictive than anything that the state has. And there's no prescription for banning guns on city property anywhere in state law. So how this judge can come forward and say, well, this will fix it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. The president of the Liberty Justice Center, which is the center that's representing the gun owners, said there isn't much middle ground in this case unless the city concedes that the regulations are unlawful, which, because they have a preeminence, that it's right there. You can't ignore a preemption statute. But this judge said, send them to arbitration, send them to mediation. And to which I go, where did you get your license to practice law? Out of a Cracker Jack box? I mean, it's pretty clear that sending them to mediation, and, to mediate, you really got to kind of want to find some middle ground. And I think most gun owners have reached that point where they're like, screw your middle ground. We've already given up way too much ground. Not 1 inch further. I mean, that's pretty much how I feel about all this stuff. I don't know how about you feel. But I'm like, we've already given up a ton of rights over the years. I mean, there's 20,000 regulations on the books about firearms, everything from where you can take them and where you can sell them and how you can acquire them and what you can do with them and everything else. I feel like I'm not going to go to arbitration. Here's my arbitration. No. But I mean, I'm just thinking, where did this judge get their I mean, this wasn't requested, again, by either party. She just said, go talk to the mediators. That'll fix it. Really? It's blatantly unlawful because of the preemption statute in the state of Nebraska. Blatantly unlawful. Don't worry about it, though. Don't worry about it. So we'll have to see how this all... I just don't... I mean, what did the judge think? That they're just going to go in there and Maybe her husband or girlfriend or whoever is a mediator, and she's just trying to send him a little business. I don't know. Maybe she owns part of a mediation firm. I'm following the money. Trying to follow the money, the whole thing. Oh, all right. We got to go. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Phone lines are open. Here's the number. Ready? Type it in. You got your phone? Is it open? Is it unlocked? You ready? 319-527-3864. Back with more right after this.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes On Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Oh, man. Well, howdy. This is normally normally when I am so rushed. You have no idea right now. I am so rushed. So normally when I go do one of the big shows up in Fairbanks, I usually go down there on like Wednesday or Thursday. But there was a snafu with my accommodations. And so I couldn't find a local bed and breakfast or somebody who was willing to work with me and maybe do some advertising on the show or something. So anyway, long story short, man, when did hotel rooms in Fairbanks get to be $260 a night in the off season? Anyway, I found a hotel that I used to stay at all the time that I really like. But I saved myself $180 by not coming down on a Thursday night. So I'm driving up to Anchorage the second, or driving up to Fairbanks the second that this show is over this morning. I'm heading out on the highway to get up there. But this whole weekend is just going to be hucklebuck. I mean, I'm literally driving up today, setting up for the show this afternoon when I get there, getting up tomorrow morning doing the show, getting up Sunday doing the show. The second the show's over, I climb back in my car and drive back. So it's going to be I feel like, wow, dang. It's one of those things. It leaves no time for Star Citizen, says Chris. That's untrue. That is untrue. I am bringing my laptop, and I will be playing probably tonight for a little bit. When I finally get unpacked at the hotel, I will probably sit down and play a little bit. So that's my thing. Anyway, just a day. It's just a day. Whew. Am I taking Monday off? No. Probably should have, but I'm not. I'm not taking Monday off. I am not doing it. Yeah. This is kind of how I usually do it, but usually I get to take my time getting there. But yeah, dang. It's like $200 a night for a cheap hotel in Fairbanks, and not a great one. I mean, I was surprised. Let's just put it that way. I was surprised when I started looking around. I was like, that's weird. Anyway, how are you guys doing for your Friday? What's happening? What's on your mind? Any good stuff you want to share with me? Range reports? Anything else? Chris says, pardon me, what's the point of mediation if the city wants to apply illegal laws against individuals later? I mean, that's exactly it. The whole point was that the Nebraska gun owners were saying you're breaking the law. And the judge is like, well, I think you need to go to mediation. Well, I think you need to go back to law school. If there's a preemption law, you can't do it. I mean, that, this is it. Terry says she's glad that I'm not taking Monday off because it really screws up her whole week when I take Monday off. Geez, Terry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my life inconveniences you. Just kidding. I will be taking Memorial Day off. Just want to let you know that. I will be taking Memorial Day off. That's a Monday, just in case you were wondering. Just in case. All right. I am ready to go. Are you ready? Are you ready already? Okay, you guys' choice. You guys tell me. Should we talk about Tennessee, California, New Orleans, or New Jersey? You tell me. You tell me, and that's the direction I'm going to go. And then we'll also talk about Talib, member of this squad, who can't help but lie. It's insane.
What the hell's an assault weapon?
If we could just figure out how to get all of the murder guns and the attack guns and not keep selling those to people and just sell protection guns, I think that would be great and solve a lot of problems.
Does this mean that if we hurt your feelings, you'd consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can live with that. Here's Michael Dukes.
Yeah, I mean, if your feelings were hurt, I am so sorry. Not really, but I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, tell me exactly how I hurt your feelings. All right, people. I just asked, what a bunch of folks. Just ask all the folks in the chat room. I'm like, I got a bunch of stories. Which one do you want to hear about? And so I, Tennessee, New Jersey, California, New Orleans. What do you want? Okay, so New Orleans seems to be the winner right now. Somebody said they want to hear about David Hogg. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I think we're going to wait till the top of the hour. I will talk about Talib Rashid. You know her. Power to the people. Speaking power to truth. That's what she says all the time, right? She's speaking power to truth. She wouldn't know what truth looked like if it came up and smacked her in the face in broad daylight. That it's just no. No. The worst part is she just says stuff that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So we're going to talk about Talib Rashid here Rashid Talib in just a minute. Rashida Talib. Whatever. But let's talk about New Orleans first because this is just nutty. So according to was this 2 days ago? 2 days ago? I don't know if they're still looking, but New Orleans police 2 days ago were still looking for the suspects of that Sunday night shooting outside a club. It left one person dead and 11 others injured. Now, a lot of the speculation around it was that it was some kind of criminal gang on gang, some kind of dispute, right? It wasn't just like some random mass shooting. It was some kind of criminal activity that got out of hand. That was the response. But even though that was going on, and then it was criminal on criminal violence, that hasn't stopped local politicians from coming together and trying to do something. It's so hard because they're trying so hard, right? I'm doing something. Sounds like you're going to give yourself an aneurysm, but that's what they want to do. They want to do something. So members of the city council in New Orleans, along with Mayor LaToya Cantrell and Police Commissioner Ann Kirkpatrick, are calling on the legislature to carve out multiple gun-free zones in the city, while also taking aim at the constitutional carry bill signed into law by Governor Jeff Landry last month. I mean, this is the answer, right? According to NOLA.com, Kirkpatrick said she'd prefer to cut out the entire city of New Orleans from the law, from the constitutional carry. She'd like to just she wants the whole city to be a gun-free zone and just. But she said, failing that, she favored a carve-out for hospitality zones that include the French Quarter, the Warehouse District, the Superdome area, Carlton Avenue to the river, and the city council districts B and C. She said, we should never have had a legislative bill that passed for even permitless carry. Meanwhile, the mayor quietly nodded behind her. Kirkpatrick said the law not only puts us going backwards, but also endangers every law enforcement officer out there because knowing you're carrying doesn't give us the opportunity to check you out. Well, you're right. That's called, let's see, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the First Amendment, and the Second Amendment. That's the way it should. Just because you know we're carrying, you're right. It doesn't give you the opportunity to check us out. Exercising a right is not evidence that a crime is being committed. Now, I'm sure that the job of the police chief and any police officer would be so much easier if they didn't have to worry about those pesky violations of the First, the Second, the Fourth, or the Fifth Amendments. I'm sure that if they could just ignore all that, their jobs would be much easier for them. I mean, we'd be living in a police state, but hey, whatever makes it easier for you, boys in blue. This is what she said. Now, again, a reminder that New Orleans has got a major problem here because Louisiana also has a preemption statute. I mean, just want to point that out. I'm just wanted to point that out. The senator who sponsored the permitless carry bill rebuffed calls for carve-outs. He said he didn't respond to requests for comment on Monday after the shooting, but has said in the past that he worries that the only people that have guns in gun-free zones are criminals. Yeah. Yeah. Turning downtown New Orleans into a gigantic gun-free zone would not only violate the Second Amendment rights of residents and visitors, according to Cam Edwards, it would create an even more target-rich environment for criminals to operate, free from any concern that their intended victim might be able to fight back. Now, New Orleans already has a huge staffing problem with their police force, right? I don't know if they ever recovered from the black eye they got during Katrina and everything else. They currently have about 900 officers, but according to the city, they need about 500 more. Maybe instead of focusing on patting down lawful, legal, law-abiding citizens and asking for their papers and doing all that stuff, maybe Kirkpatrick and the mayor should focus on, some strategies at keeping the rest of the people safe. Maybe they should be looking to lawful gun owners as a way to help them with their shortage of staff. Maybe they should be looking to them as people who can help you versus people who, are to be suspect. Because again, concealed carry holders. Now I know it's permitless carry now, but just so you know, concealed carry holders commit crimes at a lower rate than police officers. So maybe you should look at them as an untapped resource to be able to tap into if you need help during these kind of incidences. But no, their first reaction is, well, we want to carve out the whole thing, and we want to, I guess the good news is that it's good because they can't do that. But turning New Orleans into a gun-free zone would only, again, Chicago, New York, how many cities do we need to name that have a gun-free zones, that the city only is a gun-free zone, and they think that's going to fix it? How many? How many do you think that's going to be? All right, so that's New Orleans, right? That's New Orleans. What about New Jersey? Remember how New Jersey was touting back in 2018? He was signing a bill to make it illegal in New Jersey to purchase parts to manufacture or to distribute information to print ghost guns. Remember, this was about the 3D printing thing, where New Orleans was the first state in the country or New Jersey, rather, was the first state in the country to make it illegal to transfer a 3D print file for a firearm. You remember that? Well, it turns out, here we are 6 years later, the people who don't obey the law don't really seem to be paying much attention to the law. It's amazing how that works. I think we call that being a criminal, but hey, whatever. Okay. So it's showing that because they're untraceable, ghost guns tend to be used in multiple crimes. Investigators shared maps showing shootings that ballistic tests pinned on the same ghost gun. Now, they keep using that word, and I'm not sure that they're applying it universally to the same type of thing all the time, but we'll just roll with it for now. We'll just roll with it, call it a ghost gun. Seizure data shows the uptick in ghost guns, with recoveries rising 600% between 2019 and last year. Police recovered about one ghost gun a week in 2019, but that soared to almost one a day. By a 600% increase isn't an uptick. When they say seizure data also shows the uptick in ghost gun, a 600% increase is a flood. It is it didn't matter. The state had already criminalized downloading the files necessary to print a 3D gun, owning the files, making it illegal to own the parts, it just didn't matter. None of that stuff matters. So while the New Jersey law is facing a court challenge, so far the federal judiciary has declined. Why is it hard to say that word this morning? Federal judiciary. Thank you. Has declined to issue an injunction that would block enforcement of the statute. It remains in full effect and completely useless and ineffective at stopping or changing criminal behavior. So what are they supposed to do? Well, of course, they are going to make more laws. They're going to make more laws. They suggested cracking down on online purveyors of gun parts and computer codes that enable people to print firearms, and heightening penalties and expanding pretrial detention and doing all this kind of stuff. And then they said recent efforts statewide to crack down on repeat gun offenders have contributed to the downward trend in shootings. Now, really, was it that? Was it really that this targeted approach was the case? They ignored one other big factor in that whole scenario: the rise in concealed carry holders. If you thought a 600% increase in ghost gun captures was a real huge surge and a flood, how about the 3,000% increase in active concealed carry licenses post-Bruin? That's right. There are now more than 30,000 New Jersey residents with an active carry license. You think that might have something to do with the number of shootings that have since dropped to the lowest recorded level? Do you think that might have something to do with it, rather than this whole targeted, we're going to make more laws and we're going to do... Is Jersey going to learn? I seriously doubt it. But you never know. You never know. All right, 319-527-3864. 319-527-3864. We got more coming up. Rashida Tlaib. She's got some splaining to do. We're going to talk about that here up next. At the top of the hour, David Hogg gets, what's the thing? Pigs get something, hogs get slaughtered. It was a bad one for him. It was a bad Thursday night for him. We'll talk about that on the other side as well. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio.
Running on 100% pure beard power. Oh, also some coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Ha, nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jeannie. We're talking single digit numbers from one ghost gun every week to six to a ghost gun every day. That's a 600% increase. You're right. But still 600%. That's what it's all. That's what I'll like. All right. I'm going through here. Yeah, I mean, Harold's right. Gun-free zones. Good thing one person ignored it. That's the Greenville Mall shooter. That guy's a hero. The Zimbabwe drill. Failure to stop. Okay. Top of the morning. How do they know they don't know what a ghost gun is? That's the truth. They keep using the term ghost gun, and I'm like, you keep using it like it's just this arbitrary. I don't think you keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. But maybe they're, who knows? Who knows? Imagine, says Timothy, criminals not following the law. Amazing. You're talking about the ghost guns. That's what you're talking about. Scurvy dogs. All right. Wow, all the voices this morning. I couldn't decide which one to listen to. That's what Jeannie was trying to say. Arr. Yeah, then there's the zombie guns. You're right. There's ghost guns, and then there's zombie guns. They're the ones that come back from the dead. Yeah. No, gun-free zones are basically target-rich environments. Criminals don't care about them. They just don't care about them at all. She married her brother. What? Whom? I'm sorry, Brian. I need some context to this comment. Is that Rashida Tlaib? Is that you're saying that's is that who you were talking about, or were we talking about somebody else? I'm a little confused. I just thought I would, Tlaib. I got nothing. It's Friday, man. It's Friday. What do you want to talk about? I see Ron's on the phone from North Pole. Ron, hold the line. I'll be right to you here. See, this is the benefit of using the regular number. This number right here is that I've got caller ID on this number, and I can see who's calling. The other one, because it's a forwarder, I can't see who it is. Do not swallow. Do not try and breathe your own spit. That's a pro tip for you there. Okay. Ilhan Omar married her own what? Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, I have to apologize for the yawns. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to correct Brian, but it was a different member whose names escaped me, was the one who married her brother. And I think Timothy's right. I think I remember this now. I remember hearing something about that. Ilhan Omar, I believe, was accused of that, if I am not mistaken. But, you know, yeah, it's one of those things. Which, I mean, how very Game of Thrones of them. I mean, that just seems very games. I mean, I don't know who would want to marry Rashida Tlaib. Anyway, she's just not attractive. I'm sorry. Was that judgmental of me? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And her daughter upset because she's being held accountable for her actions. Well, I miss something on that? I didn't see that. I didn't see anything about that. You have to hit me with the facts on that, Tommy. I didn't know that there was anything going on. Oh, she did it so he could gain citizenship in the U.S. Well, that makes it. Did anyone mention to them that it's illegal to marry your sibling in the U.S.? I'm just asking for a friend. If that's, I mean, is that how that works? Oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You are right, Harold. I mean, I married way up in my mind, so that happens. I'm punching way above my weight class. I guess I don't have much room to talk. All right, here we go. We're going to jump back into it. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things. Let's do this thing right now.
What the hell is an assault weapon? Does that mean that if we hurt your feelings, you should consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can accept that. Here's Michael Dukes. Kind of a dick, but somewhat funny.
What? I mean, did he read that right? I'm just not sure. Welcome back to the program. Hey, how is you? Good morning. Welcome to the show. Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature all around the world, but especially here in the state of Alaska. And we are taking your calls at right now at 319-527-3864. 319-527-3864. Man, the chat room is vicious this morning. Jeannie just said, I'm pretty sure that is the general consensus, Michael, that you, in fact, married way above your station. I mean, we all know that, but there's no sense rubbing it in my face. I mean, well, it just proves, I guess maybe it's not rubbing it in my face because it proves that I'm a genius or at least a smooth talker, one of the two. But I did marry, in fact, way above my station. All right, let's go over to the phones. Ron is on the line. Good morning, my friend. What's happening?
Well, you and me on marrying up.
Yeah. Hey, I think a lot of us guys married up. I mean, there's either we're just smooth talkers or sometimes these women were just like, okay, fine, I give up. I'll just pick one. I don't know. Whatever it was, we're lucky.
Well, the reason I called was your discussion brought something to mind that occurred a number of years ago when I was working as a contract employee for the Marshal Service. A fellow with the who would become the chief deputy eventually for the state of Alaska, and probably is still doing so, made a comment in a conversation we were having. It was concerning a police state, and he said, police state's not a bad thing if you're the state police.
Well, I guess that's true. That would be true. It would suck if you were the private citizen, but if you were the state police, a police state is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was a good insight into the way some folks think. Have a great day, Michael.
Yeah, true. I guess one question, Ron, was he saying it with sarcasm or was he saying it with, I mean, like, was it a wink and a nod or was he like in favor of? I'm just curious.
Oh, I think purely in this case, in favor of.
That's a little, that's That's a little spooky. I'll just say it right there. That's a little spooky. Okay. Well, thank you, Ron, for your call. I appreciate you calling
right.
in this morning. I mean,
Right.
yeah. I mean, tongue in cheek, a police state is a good thing if you're the state police. Okay. I mean, I could see that being a tongue in cheek kind of wink, wink. But if he's the chief law enforcement officer and for the federal marshals and he's in favor of that, Houston, we have a problem. I love the Marshal Service. I've never been mad at don't worry about it. It's fine. I love you guys. Matt Dillon, go. So anyway, she just sent me that was Ilhan Omar's. Okay. All right. There you go. Maybe it was pity. Maybe it was pity, Brian. I don't know. Maybe she just felt sorry for me and she's like, boy, this guy is really, I mean, he's fawning over me and he's so pathetic, but he is kind of, he makes me laugh occasionally. So why not? Maybe that's what it did it. I don't know. So, all right. So let's talk about Rashida Tlaib. She is part of the squad. Remember, that's the squad of, what is that? Is that AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and I can't remember who the fourth one is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. They are the four most annoying women in Congress. Let's just put it that way, from my perspective. I'm sure that somebody loves them and, it's all good. But to me, they are some of the most annoying people in Congress. And they're just wrong. They're just wrong all the time. And they can't help but be wrong because, contrary to popular opinion, they are not intellectual giants. I'm just saying it like it is. Just saying it like it is. Now, ironically, I don't know if you've seen her logo for Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. It's the picture of Michigan. I don't know if it's part of Detroit skyline or some skyline with a fist in front of it. Like, oh, we are strong. We are the power. And it says, speak truth to power. That's the slogan and the logo and the whole thing. 12th district strong. And to which I was like, this girl wouldn't know truth if it smacked her in the face in broad daylight. She has just no clue. So let's, for a moment, let's take a listen to Rashida Tlaib on the floor of the Congress speaking. This is so ironic because they don't do normal orders anymore. It's essentially an empty room. It's her and three other people in this room. And this is what happens all day. They just like one person comes in and speaks for the cameras and there's nobody else around. But here it is, Rashida Tlaib on the floor of Congress. Here's what she had to say.
We have not voted on a single gun violence prevention bill under this Republican majority. Guns now have more rights in our country than women do. It's
What?
sick.
What?
It's disgusting that campaign donations from the NRA and gun manufacturers have bought inaction and bought the silence of many of my colleagues and blocked many, many important major reforms that we need.
Okay, so that was supposed to stop. Sorry, that was supposed to stop after she said gun rights. Guns now have more rights.
We have not voted on a single gun violence prevention bill under this Republican majority. Guns now have more rights in our country than women do. It's sick.
Okay. How does it? Okay. Like what? Okay. So let's talk about this for a second. So first and foremost, guns are just a physical, simple tool. They don't have more. They can't have rights. They're just an object. People have the rights to bear arms and protect themselves. And that is all arms, whether it's a pole arm, sidearm, rifle, sword, arrow, whatever it is, they have the right. It's the people that have the rights. So, now we do call them gun rights, but the bottom line is that the gun rights are actually people rights. So I just want to point that I know you're, again, you're not the Mensa candidate that we were looking for, but so just so you understand, when we say gun rights, those are actually people's rights, not rights for actual guns. So I guess I can, let you off the hook for that because you didn't, what about, how about, women who are, and you're saying they have more rights than women do. Well, a woman can walk into any business in the nation so long as it's open to the general public without any fear of arrest, unless, of course, she's carrying a gun. A woman could walk into any government building anywhere in the nation, of course, unless she's carrying a gun. A woman can attend any protest in the nation, unless, of course, somebody, else, she's got a gun. She doesn't need a special permit in order to walk around outside. A woman doesn't. But a person does in about half the states. You got to have a special permit if you're a gun and you want to walk around outside. I mean, this is just, it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. This woman is a congresswoman. And she says, and she actually tweeted it. Guns now have more rights in this country than women do. It's sick. Congress must move with urgency to address our country's gun violence crisis. How about we put people in jail who need to be put in jail? Of course, then she continues with this.
It's disgusting that campaign donations from the NRA and gun manufacturers have bought inaction and bought the silence of many of my colleagues and blocked many, many important major reforms that we need to keep our community safe across our nation. Every one of our colleagues that refuses to vote for common sense gun violence prevention, I truly believe have blood on their hands. Responsibility. It's clear.
This, again, is the straw man argument where if you don't agree with me, you obviously are responsible for the violent death that is going on out there and everything else. And, this is just more of, the minuscule intellect of people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, et cetera, et cetera. It's frightening. All right, we got to go. Hour 2, dead ahead. Yeah. What did I say? I didn't say. I said Mozambique drill. What did I say? Probably TH is asking out on the thing. Did you mean Mozambique drill? Yes. What did I say? Did I say some other African nation? The Zimbabwe drill? I can't remember what I said. Mozambique. If I said Zimbabwe, definitely that's a different kind of drill. The Zimbabwe drill's a different kind of drill. I meant Mozambique. You are 100% right. 100% right. Can we not get so social clicky? I don't know how that is. Squid Squad. Squid Squad. Congratulations. Okay. Wait. Wow, guns can vote now, says Tawny. Brian says, wait, can women not go into bars? Not fly in a passenger compartment? Women have to surrender themselves to law enforcement on demand in some jurisdictions? Yeah, I mean, that's, it's the thing. It's the, Rick says, I wonder which one of her aides wrote that, or was it something Chuck Schumer told her to say yeah, that's exactly it. This is, that's what happens when you go there. It's just, they have no clue, It's the Dickens drill, says, well, yeah, you're naming it after that was his name, right? Was it Elijah Dickens? I think that was his name, Elijah Dickens. Permanently tattooed ID number on the women if they've got less rights than guns. Yeah. Guns are not allowed to be educated in school. That's true. Yeah. Harold said he saw the movie Civil War, and I think his D means his daughter started to gag at one scene. It's not for the faint of heart. I heard it's thought-provoking, I guess is the phrase that I would use. I heard it's good and thought-provoking. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Where are we? We're at the top of the hour. Man, I should have had more coffee this morning. I woke up at 3:45 this morning. I couldn't go back to sleep. Ready. Let's go. I just want to...
We have not voted on a single gun violence prevention bill under this Republican majority. Guns now have more rights in our country than women do. It's sick.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
She needs Michael. That's right. That's just Michael Jordan, right? I mean, get some help. Harold says, I guess she wants more murder guns, or wants less murder guns and more protection guns. That's the thing. She doesn't want any, she wants less guns. The problem is because she wants less protection guns, she's not getting she's getting more murder guns because she doesn't want protection guns. Because protection guns are wielded by law-abiding citizens. She wants it only to be the criminals who are armed because they will ignore the law. So more murder guns. That's what it's right. That's what it's right. Oh, I mean, but again, what do we expect? Why would we not expect this woman to be, the leader of her district and the congresswoman for her area? Why would not? Because this is the leader of the free world.
Put a pistol on a brace, it turns into a gun. Makes it more, you can have a higher caliber weapon, a higher caliber bullet coming out of that gun. It's essentially turning it into a short barrel rifle, which has been a weapon of choice by a number of mass shooters.
I mean, say what? I mean, say what? Say what? Say, God have mercy on us all. Just have mercy on us all. Oh, God. Every one of them. Every one of these knuckleheads that are down there in Congress, it's just... They just make stuff up as they go along. There is no backing.
We all know that because of the ammunition magazines that can be strapped on to so many pistols, that these become automatic weapons similar to AK-47s.
What?
Ammunition magazines that can be strapped on to so many pistols that these become automatic weapons similar to AK-47s.
Just hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. That's all I can think of right now. Just hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. You're killing me, Smalls. That's what's going on. Yeah. Can I name one mass shooter who used a brace? Nope. I don't think they can. I don't think they can. Just like they can't name them, they talk about, this is the one that killed all our police officers, all these assault weapons. No, it was handguns. That was the thing. It was handguns. It's crazy. All right, we got to go. Let's do it. Here we go.
Buddy, put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
The Michael Dukes Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Dukes Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
Take my rifle, this is my gun. This is for fighting, this is for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Yep, Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature right here on the Michael Dukes Show. Welcome back to the program, and thanks for coming on board and joining us. We just had a blowout of a session during the top of the hour break there talking with folks, and I think that Donna wins the internet for today. Let me set this up so that you understand what I'm talking about. During the last segment of the last hour, we were talking about comments made by Rashida Tlaib, the congresswoman for the 12th district in Michigan, where she got on the floor of the Congress and decided to basically say some of the dumbest stuff you could possibly ever say. Okay. And she gets up there and she just starts spouting off, to which Donna has now made a reply. Here's what Tlaib said on the floor of Congress that was just, jaw-dropping. Rashida Tlaib on the floor.
We have not voted on a single gun violence prevention bill under this Republican majority. Guns now have more rights in our country than women do. It's sick.
So that's what she said. Guns now have more rights in our country than women do. To which Donna replies, ask her if she thinks Jewish women have rights. Oh, let me look up a list of burn centers in the U.S. for Rashida Tlaib. Because remember, these are the same people that are backing Palestine, saying the Jews have no right to live. This is the same group of women who are saying all those things. Ask her if she thinks Jewish women have rights. Wow. Just freaking wow. That's a very valid question. Very valid question. Oh, but this is the problem, right? People who are making like laws or saying things. We have got so many sound bites that we can play, and we've played all the time, and I will continue to play because, again, they show the ignorance of every one of these talking heads, be they politicians or be they celebrities. Tommy Chong comes to mind.
If you have a gun, you're not very intelligent.
Why's that?
Because you're paranoid. If you think you need a gun for your house, for whatever, if you think you have something that's worth someone else's life, then you are ignorant.
Right. If you have a fire extinguisher, you're paranoid. If you have a seatbelt, you're paranoid. If you have a smoke detector, you're paranoid. If you have right? This is just so dumb. Chuck Schumer.
If you have ever seen a gunman fire what looks like a machine gun with just one hand, that's what pistol braces allow you to do.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
That's what pistol it's firing a machine gun, or of course our own leader of the free world, the president of these United States, who again told us if we ever had an intruder, just to make sure to stick our double barrel out the window and shoot 2 shots into the air. He also said this:
put a pistol on a brace, It turns into a gun. Makes it more, you can have a higher caliber weapon, a higher caliber bullet coming out of that gun. It's essentially turned it into a short barrel rifle, which has been a weapon of choice by a number of mass shooters.
Yeah. What? The what? The putting a barrel on the gun, the larger caliber, the what? I mean, it's nutty. It's nuttier than squirrel poo. But that's what we've got. We've got all these politicians who are out there making laws about stuff that they don't understand. I will never stop playing the clip from Carolyn McCarthy, who was one of the main proponents of the assault weapons ban. She was one of the people that helped craft it. And she went on a show on, I think it was at the time, it was MSNBC. And it was when Tucker Carlson was working over there. I mean, this is 15 years ago. And he asked her the question about some specifics on the gun laws, and she had no idea what the components were when they're putting out features and classes on the gun. She had no idea what any of it meant. You are making laws restricting firearms based on cosmetic features that you don't even understand.
In February, you introduced the Assault Weapons Ban and Law Enforcement Protection Act of 2007. It would regulate semi-automatic assault weapons, including weapons that have pistol grips, a forward grip, and something called a barrel shroud. Weapons with a barrel shroud would be regulated. What's a barrel shroud, and why should we regulate it?
I think the more important thing is would have had banned the large capacity clips that Colin Ferguson had used, and also the killer.
Okay. But I read the legislation. I'm sorry, I read the legislation and it said that it would regulate barrel shrouds. What's a barrel shroud, and why should we regulate that?
The guns that were chosen back in those days were basically the guns that most gangs and criminals were using to kill our police officers. I'm not saying it was the best bill, but that was the best bill they could get out at that particular time. I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is. I believe it's a shoulder thing that goes up.
So it's the shoulder thing that I really don't know what it is, but I believe it's the shoulder thing. She should have just stopped as I don't know what it is, but she thinks it's the shoulder thing that goes up. Oh, and the weapons that they were choosing were the ones that most of our police officers were being shot with. No, your police officers were being shot with pistols. The vast majority of crime in the tens of thousands when it comes to firearms crime in this country, 10, 12, 14, 15,000 instances of homicide with fire, it is pistols. And yet she's out there trying to justify, and also the large capacity clips. I just love it when they say clips. I just love it when they say clips. The large capacity clips. And we did that because those are the guns that our police officers were getting shot with. No, they weren't. You are such a freaking liar. Every one of you. And nobody calls them on it. Nobody calls them and says, actually, according to the Department of Justice's Uniform Crime Report, the vast majority of crimes are committed with handguns. I mean, nobody calls them on it. Where is the freaking truth? I mean, again, time and time again, this is what happens. Some no-neck, numbnuts nitwit gets up there and spouts something from the podium, and the news media says, you got to write that down. That's genius. That's exactly what we should do. And it's totally untrue. Greg Jarrett. My favorite, when I lost all respect for Fox News was during the Sutherland Springs shooting in Texas, when Greg Jarrett, who up until that point had been kind of a, non-offensive, just kind of a talking head, and he got up there and they brought him on for whatever reason, like Greg Jarrett is some kind of firearms expert? I don't know. And he was obviously very emotional about this. And he goes on and on about how these AR-15s can be turned into a machine gun with with a push of you take a bullet and you push it on this button and it turns it into a machine. It was all complete and total.
That was just BS.
I mean, there was so much Bert Stedman flying around there. You have no idea. And I just looked at my TV and I'm like, these are the people that are supposedly on my side? Right? We're still, I mean, why do they continue to push? Yeah, Jeannie's right. Why do they continue to push on this whole narrative about, long guns and everything else? Because they lost their footing on the handgun reform. Because they know people are not going to give up the most concealable, portable, and effective way to defend themselves. They keep trying, well, we're not trying to take your handguns. We just want to take these evil black rifles. The evil black rifles, I mean, the evil black rifles account for less than 300 incidences of crime of homicide across the country. Last year was the last one, was 364 homicides committed with all long guns? All long guns, including the evil black rifles.
Well, I don't know. I heard it on TV. It must be okay. It must be right. That's what, the politician, he cares about us. He knows what's going on.
No, they are morons. Come on, people. What if I told you that this whole gun control thing was about control? What if I told you that? What if I told you that they just want you to roll over and wet on yourself so that they can tell you how to live? What if I told you that that's the actual case, right? Wow, that got out of hand. Okay, so we're up against the break. Hey, baby. We're up against the break. We got more coming up. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We will return with more. Plus, we got Willie Waffle coming up at the end of the show. Up next, David Hogg gets hogtied verbally. What is that phrase? The pigs squeal, hogs get slaughtered? No, pig I can't remember. I'm going to have to look it up now. But David Hogg, he had a reckoning. We'll talk about that on the other side. Firearms Friday. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking gun radio. Back with more right after this.
We're broadcasting live through a series of tubes.
Allowing all of these entities to provide streaming stuff going on the internet.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Sorry. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. All right. I got a little out of control there. Sorry. I've just... I mean, really? I mean, just some of the dumbest stuff you ever heard coming straight from a politician's lips. They're like, of course, if you stick this, if you tape these magazines to this, if you strap them on, you create a machine gun. You create a machine gun. Thank you for so much. Pigs get fat. Hogs get slaughtered. I appreciate it. That was the one I was going to look at. I knew it was there. I was so agitated that I could not think it. Yep. Harold, car day. Harold was a Mustang fan as well. I had a Mustang. I had a 69 Mustang Mach 1, which I could never get running. I got rid of. And then I bought a 71 Torino Cobra Jet, which I still own to this day. It is, it's going to be my retirement project. I'm going to rebuild that thing. It is a lot of fun. Okay. I have a great research staff. I do. I have the smartest listeners in the world. I could tell you that that's it. Registration is officially open for GOA's inaugural convention, the Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is for Gun Owners of America, Jeffrey? Is that who this is for, GOA? Or is Gun Owners Advocacy something different? I don't know. Tell me, Jeffrey. Tell me what's going on. Feed me, Seymour. All right. Oh, David Hogg. We're going to talk about that. Yes, it's for. Okay. What the freaking? There we go. Sorry. Lost my mind. All right, got everything I got. We're ready. Can we get a GOA rep on the show sometime? You know, I used to have Larry Pratt on all the time, but the last 3 or 4 times I tried to get somebody on because Larry retired, and Eric came on once, and then one of their lead counsel, Michael something or other, he came on. He came on a couple times, but I've had a hell of a time trying to get I tried to get him on for like 3 or 4 months. I couldn't get anybody from GOA to come back on. I mean, Larry and I have been friends for 20 years. Larry and I went to SHOT Show together back in 2010, something like that. I mean, it was, anyway, I don't know what's going on, but I have not been able to get a hold of anybody from Gun Owners of America for a long, long time. So we'll see what happens. Okay. We got to go. Well, actually, we still got a minute. We got 67 seconds left before we jump into it. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get somebody from GOA back on the program. I loved Larry. Larry was so much fun. I just, Eric was cool, but Larry was just, I don't know. There's just something about Larry that was just, it was a gas. Definitely a gas. But we'll see if we can get, I'll reach out again and see what I can find, Brian. But it's because it's probably been 2 years since I tried to get somebody on. Well, it's probably, and Greg, you're not wrong. It's probably because they've been very busy correcting the wrongs done by stupid politicians. I've also been trying to get people from the Firearms Policy Coalition on board. And I'm trying to get Coleon Noir on board. I wanted to talk with him. I've had Maj Touré on. I've had a bunch of people on. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. You ready to go? Now we're ready. 15 seconds out. Let's do this thing. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Do all the YouTube-y things. Check out the Common Sense Corps. Let's do this. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Assault Penguins activated.
What the hell's an assault weapon? What isn't? If I assault you with a penguin, doesn't that make it an assault weapon? Does this mean that if we hurt your feelings, you'd consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can live with that. Here's Michael Dukes.
I mean, assault penguins, they're vicious. They are the last line of defense of my homestead. The assault penguins activate. All right. Well, welcome back to the program. It is, it's Friday. Can you tell? Can you tell that it's Friday? So big news. I can't wait to tell you about this because it is, and thank you to, one of my listeners sent me the message. The quote that I was looking for, the quote was, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So that was the that was the quote that kept running around in my back of my mind, because verbally, David Hogg, he got slaughtered. He got slaughtered last week. Last Thursday night, he and Spike Cohen, former vice presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party, sat down and had a debate on gun control. Now, he got pretty well murped over the whole. Spike Cohen really kind of did a number on him to begin with. But then they opened up the floor for comments and questions. And this is where David Hogg got slaughtered. Because there's no coming back from this. And it was such a concise and short, it's gone viral. If you haven't seen it, I wish there was a camera angle that was focused on his face while this speech was going on, while this woman spoke, because I would have paid good money to see his ultimate expression when she drops the truth bomb on him. So let me play it for you. Lily Tang versus Mr. David Hogg. Here it is.
Hi, my name is Lily Tang Williams. Welcome to my Live Free or Die state.
Yeah.
Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the U.S., in D.C., will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over, because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
Boom! Walk away, Lily. Walk away, because that is it. I can't guarantee it. Then the gun control debate is over. Can you guarantee that the government of the United States will not become dictatorial? No. Even David Hogg admits that it cannot be. Of course, that's what they're all afraid of, right? With the Orange Emperor right around the corner, they're afraid he's going to get back into office, and to them that would be dictatorial. We on the other side are worried about the whole government as a whole. I'm worried about both of them, the Muppet and the Orange Dictator. I'm worried about them both. Doing something like that. So it doesn't matter. Is it fathomable that it could be? Yes, it is fathomable that it could be dictatorial. I mean, in some ways, we're already there, right? I mean, when you got to beg the government permission to do just about anything, isn't that kind of where we're at? But even Hogg admits that it couldn't. I mean, there's just no way to blah, 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 blah. And here we are. Then the gun control debate is over. I'm going to play that again. That is such a good clip. One more time.
Hi, my name is Lily Tang Williams. Welcome to my Live Free or Die state. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the U.S., in D.C., will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over, because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
You should see how that gun control worked in the CCP for the 20 million people purged by the Cultural Revolution. the undesirables, the people who were spreading misinformation, the people who weren't with the program, right? And yeah, Trump is just as bad. Take the guns and worry about due process later. I've got that. I'm going to put that. I've got that clip. I'll put it back up on my hotbar, and we'll play that in the litany of politicians and political, retardedness that you see coming out of their mouth. I know that's not a politically correct word, but what more could it be than just dumb stupidity? That they continue to put stuff out like this is going to fix anything. David Hogg, you poor, poor bastard. You just got ripped apart with one thing. Then the debate is over. Boom. Mic drop. Mic drop right there. But LD is not wrong in the chat room either when she says, could the United States become a tyrannical government? Yeah, I mean, in many ways it has. It's again, dictatorial. I mean, when have you not had to beg the government in one way, shape, or form for permission to do anything? You want to make a change to your house? Did you have to ask your city to, give you a permit to do work on your own home? If you wanted to go start a second profession, did you have to go beg their permission and pay them a fee? If you want to go do something or, occupational licensing, did you have to do that? Did you just name me one thing. Name me one thing that is, I remember the founding fathers threw the Boston Tea Party over a 3% tax on mail. Where are we at now? Anybody keeping score over there? Any accountants out there want to run me a full tally of the amount of tax that we're paying on everything, including our right to die? When we die, including all that money that we've collected over the years, whatever's left after it's been taxed a dozen times or more, when you die, they're going to tax it one more time. And then, tell me how we're not living in a quasi dictatorship. Tell me how that works. Tell me how we're not living, or how we are still living in the freest nation in the world. The freest nation in the world, where we have to beg permission to do just about anything. I'm just asking. When we have to be tax slaves to everything, right? I mean, when we are, that's what it is.
You and him and me and everybody listening here, when we add up all our taxes over the course of a year, we work for the government more than we work for ourselves. It's not just income tax, it's sales tax, it's property tax, it's all this other. What does that make us? That makes us tax slaves in our own country that's supposed to be the freest country in the world. That has to change. I believe that the reason they make it that way is to financially oppress people for control reasons. If people don't have financial resources and they're worried about making their ends meet, it's very difficult for them to concentrate on what's happening in Washington, D.C. or what's happening in their local politics. So if you create enough division, enough hardship, enough confusion, enough anxiety, enough stress, it's really hard for the average person to get activated to pay attention to what's happening in the country, which gives them free reign to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, they're keeping you. It's bread and circuses, baby. Only it's not the fun kind of bread and circuses. It's you're taxed and you're paying attention and you're struggling just to make ends meet. Meanwhile, they have the perfect plan as to how to run your life to make things more efficient so that they can maintain control. And guns are just a part of it, man. Guns are, again, what if I told you that the whole gun control debate was just about control? Right? Just about control. Why? Because they know better than you how you should run your life, how you should live your life, how you should spend your money, how you should raise your kids. And the only thing holding them back from being able to put all those things on you right now is the fact that you have the ability, the implicit threat of being able to defend against them with your firearms, etc., etc., etc. That's it. That's why they're doing these things, folks. That's why they're fighting back. That's why they're afraid of guns. That's why they will tell you lies about how all the long guns, oh, those are the ones that the criminals are using for everything. You know, they won't go, well, we're not going after the handguns until, of course, all the long guns are gone. And then they'll be like, well, you know, you don't really need a handgun because the police are here to save you. And, you know, we should really think about those criminals being, I mean, it's all about control, folks. That's what it's about. And guns are the only thing holding them back. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense Radio.
Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. Well. Yeah, no, history proves, I mean, democide is a word for a reason. Democide is the murder of innocents by government. More people have been killed by government atrocities than all the wars combined. I mean, communism alone has killed well over 100 million people. Not to mention Cambodia, not to mention the Ottoman Empire, not to mention the Turks and the Armenians, not to mention, I mean, genocide, not to mention the Nazis, not to mention, I mean, all these things. Democide is the largest killer of humans in the history of the world. And the taking of firearms, the registration, and the disarmament of people is the gateway to genocide. And has been for years. You just go read Aaron Zellman's book, Gateway to Tyranny. Aaron Zellman, who was one of the founders of Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, good friend of mine, died 10 years ago now, I think. But he had a whole book that was basically outlined how gun, regulation led to registration, which led to confiscation, which led to genocide. In instance after instance, from Cambodia to Armenia to Nazi Germany to communists. I mean, he just, point by point by point. I mean, there you go. It's a challenge, but we should be doing that. Hold on a second here. Let me get in the mood. Excuse me while I get in the mood. Willie, hold on, I gotta answer this text from Willie. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Willie's gonna call in just a minute, and we're gonna do the movies. It's going to be motorcycle weather soon. Hell, it's motorcycle weather today. It's currently 38 degrees outside my house right now. I'm just hoping that it's a nice drive. Because earlier this week, was it earlier this week? Or maybe it was late last week, Mike King from Salt just said he drove down to Anchorage and it was a blizzard whiteout condition for 200 miles or something. And I'm just like, I hope that's not how it is. I hope that's not how it is on the way up to Fairbanks today. We're gonna get all that stuff squared away. All right. I'm closing a bunch of windows now because we didn't even get to the story about the killing, the writings of the Covenant killer. They're fighting to try and They're trying to fight and prevent the release of the Covenant Killer's writings. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why would they want to do that? Well, possibly because she was a racist, and a bigot, and she was a lot of things. She was a lot of things. But I don't know. It's anyway, they're fighting to prevent the release of these documents. Now, I've seen some of the documents because Steven Crowder got some of them out. There was 3 pages that are, it's crazy. But you know how they're arguing it right now? You know how they're saying that they couldn't do it? Because they're saying it would infringe on copyright because the shooter's parents released the material and signed the material over to the parents of the Covenant shooting victims. And they don't want it to be released. I don't know why. Don't we want to figure out how these people think so that we can stop them? Doesn't that make sense? Anyway, it's a whole different... We didn't get to that story. Maybe we'll pick it up next week when we come back and we'll talk about it then. All right, I got things dinging. I got things ready to go. We're about to do it to it here. 30 seconds out. We're going to jump into this. Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com is our guest, and we will be ready to go right now. Let's do it. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Phones are connected, and we're ready. Let's do the movies, man. Let's have fun. Here we go. Well, okay. Hello. How are you? Are you ready for the weekend? Yes, I am. I wish I was, all right, I'm not going to complain. Nobody listens anyway. Why would I complain about my lack of weekend? All right, let's bring on the king of weekend, the king of lack of weekend. No, are you working this weekend? Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com. Are you actually off this weekend or are you working? I can't keep track anymore.
It's a sore subject right now.
I knew it was. I knew I was right. I knew. I was like, I think it's this weekend that he has to work, and he gets a little salty.
A little.
Yeah.
There's no weekend this weekend.
Hey, so don't feel bad because I got to drive to Fairbanks, do the whole thing, and then drive back Sunday night to start fresh at 5 a.m. Monday morning. So I feel you, baby. I feel you.
Yeah.
That's as much complaining as I'm going to do about it, but it is what it is. All right. Well, get thee behind me. What do we got here? We got a fall into a bridge embankment, a Chris Farley biopic. Really?
Yes.
Really?
And this actually sounds to me like maybe the most promising way they could do this. So several years ago, his brother and a co-writer wrote a bio of Chris Farley, and this has always been sought after as maybe like something they could make a movie off of, like they could make a Chris Farley biopic off of it, and they're totally going to do it. Now, there's no studio on board yet. Nobody's picked it up to distribute it, but it's going to be produced by Lorne Michaels and his company, Broadway Video. So someone's going to pick it up. And here's the interesting part. Of all the people in the world that could play Chris Farley, of all the actors who would take up the challenge, I think they may have found the absolutely perfect one.
Really?
That would be Paul Walter Hauser. Now, he's one of these guys, he's like an actor's actor. Okay,
right.
Like hardcore people like me know the name and go, "Oh, he's good. Oh, he's really good."
Right.
And that's why I want to see him do it now. Now, just to help you understand who he is. Okay, if you ever saw the Richard Jewell movie from Clint Eastwood, He's
Right.
Richard Jewell.
Oh,
If you ever
okay.
saw, if you ever saw I, Tanya, he's Galooly. He's the guy that whacks Nancy Kerrigan in the knee.
Okay,
If you ever
okay.
saw Blackbird, he's one of the criminals in Blackbird.
So he's just
I mean,
like a working
guys,
stiff. He's just like a working stiff
Yeah.
actor.
and he's really good. And if anybody is going to play Farley, it's going to be him. And I think that they're going to need him because we have a first-time director stepping up to the plate. Although a guy who I think is very talented.
Ooh.
That would be Mr. Josh Gad. Now,
Oh.
where do I know Josh Gad? Yes, he's Olaf. He's Olaf from Frozen.
Wow.
He's going to direct the movie.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that sounds good. I mean, I could just watch some Chris Farley movies and get his whole bio, but that's fine. We'll do a little bio about it.
Well,
it'll be interesting.
it's going to be the behind the scenes, all the stuff that we know about, the drinking and the drugs and, the things that were really bad for him. Yeah.
Yeah. People are fascinated with that stuff. I personally am
Yeah.
not, but it'll be good. But, hey, interesting to see it come out. All right. Let's move on to, I don't know if I should laugh or cry. Liam Neeson, okay? A guy that I used to like, and then he opened his fat mouth because he just couldn't learn to shut up. But now he's signed on to it's a new one, but it's not, I have a special set of skills. It is, I picked the wrong time to stop sniffing glue. The Naked Gun remake, Liam Neeson, but wait till you hear about his co-star. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, this is one that's been developing. I mean, the idea that Liam Neeson was going to step in and play Frank Drebin in a Naked Gun remake, of course, the Leslie Nielsen role. Yes, that has been out there. It's been brewing for a long time. We've known that that's been in the works. However, this week his co-star was announced, and I'm just going to say it, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, which I immediately thought, is she still alive? That was my, I mean, I feel bad, but that was like my first thought, and then I thought, Liam Neeson, I hate this guy. I mean, I just, I could barely watch him as Qui-Gon Jinn, let alone everything else, because he just won't shut his freaking mouth. The big Irish big mouth. I mean, anyway. Yeah, so he's going to try and be funny. I guess we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Pamela Anderson, this is kind of a comeback. Now, she did do a documentary like last year about her life and all the things that she's gone through, and it just smelled like a comeback attempt. It was like announcing to people, "Hey, I'm ready to work.
Yeah.
Somebody hire me."
Yeah.
And she got the gig, and let's see how she does. Hey, I'm willing to give her a chance. Hey, listen, she's going to play a blonde, sexy woman. I think she knows how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, she's a little near her expiration date for that, but that's fine. It's okay. It'll be fine. Okay. So Naked Gun, but that won't be till what? 2025, late 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. They're looking for like July 2025.
Okay. All right. And then of course you've got the Pooh-verse. The Pooniverse? The
Pooniverse.
I'm afraid to say that. The Pooniverse. The Pooniverse.
Yeah.
What the heck is the Pooniverse?
Because you can't just make one movie. No. You have to have several movies. You have to have several characters who are in a group. And then you bring them all together for a really big movie. That's what the Avengers taught us. And that's what they've learned in B-grade horror land. The people behind Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yes, they have decided. They have created the Pooniverse. Not only will Winnie the Pooh have another movie, but as they pick up other characters who are entering the public domain because their copyrights are expiring, they are going to, much like the Avengers, have some other characters. As
wait.
Bambi.
I need to read these for you, okay? This is the inner world, all right? Bambi, the Reckoning. Peter Pan, Neverland Nightmare. Pinocchio, Unstrung. I mean, this is This is some hysterical stuff. I can't wait for this stuff.
Oh yeah, and then in 2025 we shall have Pooniverse Monsters Assemble, where they'll all come together and terrorize the planet.
This is like a blatant, unabashed ripoff of, I mean, just, Monsters Assemble. Oh my gosh. It's like,
And it's going to be done as cheap as possible. They don't spend a lot of money on making these movies. They're trying to churn them out real fast, get a couple quick laughs at the campiness, and move on.
well, I mean,
what
Blood
they're
and
gonna do
Honey
here.
actually did pretty good, right? I mean, it was in the
Well, I mean,
scheme
for
of
its
things.
cost,
Yeah.
In the scheme of things, they made enough money to make these other ones. So they're doing okay
Yeah.
financially because their budgets are very, 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 very low. And so they're taking a familiar character that a lot of people know. They're trying to put a twist on it that gets you interested if you're a little bit sick in the head. And I'm a little sick in the head. I won't lie.
Right.
So they've got a lot of pieces that say quick ticket sales, cheap ticket sales.
Right.
We'll make a little bit of money and we'll get out.
To date, Pooh, Blood and Honey made, well, I guess that was just the run. It was only in the theaters for a couple weeks. Box Office Mojo, what's the domestic all-time rankings? It said that Box Office Mojo said it made worldwide, it made $4.94 million. So I guess that's enough. I don't know how much it made. It usually, it used to tell you how much it cost to make it, but it's not telling you.
The cost was low, and they made a lot of their money on streaming because they didn't really get a great U.S. distribution deal. They had like one of these deals where it was like a special event for a couple of nights in America, and
Right.
then that was used to then promote that. That was used to promote it so that when it hit streaming, that's where they're really making their money. So
Okay.
they're making their money as people sit at home and go, "Yeah, I'll rent that for $3 for the night. Why
Yeah,
not?
sure, why
and
not?
check it out of curiosity."
Okay. I think that's we got about 4.5 minutes here. So Abigail, Under the Bridge, and The Ministry. I want to talk about The Ministry last. So let's go for it. What do you got?
Okay. Well, then let's start with Under the Bridge, and this is a new Hulu series. I want to say it's like 8 or 9 episodes. They're they've got the first couple out right now, and then you got to watch the other ones week after week after week. Something our friend here, Mr. Dukes, really enjoys.
No, I refuse to do it. I will not do it. I will wait for the whole series to drop. That's it. I just will never do that again.
It's set in 1997. It's about this 14-year-old Canadian girl who disappears, and she hangs out with the wrong crowd, guys. And this wrong crowd is crazy. They're a bunch of young gals living in a foster home. All of them have really bad family lives and pasts, and they all think that they're in a gang. They think they're John Gotti and his gang. And they have interacted with this girl, and she has disappeared. And now we have Riley Keough, who a lot of people know as Elvis's granddaughter, but also she's done she did Daisy and the Six, that series recently.
Right.
She's a writer who's been writing about these girls, and now sees there's a bigger story. And we also have Lily Gladstone from the Martin Scorsese movie that all of a sudden I'm blanking on.
Right.
The Killers of the Flower Moon. She is a cop locally, and of course she and Riley Keough used to know each other, and we're going to find out there was some great tragedy because they're totally laying the groundwork for that. And so we're watching these lives and how they're interacting, and we're wondering what happened to this little girl. Where is she? What's going to happen? And I think that if they play that up a little bit more, I mean, the emotional stuff's all right.
Right.
Getting into the idea that these are troubled people, they need help. Okay, I understand that. But I really want to see the mystery. I'm at like 2.5 waffles. I'm waiting for the next few episodes. Let's see if we kind of play out the mystery.
Okay, great. Then you have Abigail, which looks hysterical. So a group of criminals kidnap a 12-year-old ballerina. She's the daughter of some powerful underworld figure. But it turns out they may have bitten off more than they can suck down and chew. Maybe.
Oh yeah. This 12-year-old, let's just say, enjoys the night if you know what I mean.
She's a child of the night. She's not a lady of the night. She's a child of the night. It's a whole different thing, right? Yeah.
I think we can say it. I think they make it pretty clear in all the commercials. She's a vampire.
Yeah.
And now the criminals are disappearing one by one and they don't know why. But they're starting to figure it out because there's a lot of bloody mess all over the house. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what this movie's all about. Okay. This is all about, yes, part of it is some of the tension, some of building up that tension as we kind of are going down the hallways of this house and we're seeing what's going on and we know what's going to happen next because we know she's a vampire. And so, it's playing into that. And I think, we root for her because, yeah, she's a vampire, but she's a little girl that was kidnapped. I'd like to see her get a little revenge too. I'm at 2.5 waffles. It's fine enough.
It's fine enough. Okay, not stellar, but fine enough. Which leads us to the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, based on a true story. But all I'm seeing right now is like people are like pretty raving about this. What are your thoughts? What do you think after watching this?
No, I really liked it too. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Like you said, true story of a British secret force that's sent to stop the Germans from resupplying the U-boats that are winning World War II. And they've got a heck of a plan. It's a daring do kind of plan. And of course, you're going to have some crazy guys to pull it off. Crazy guys like Henry Cavill, crazy guys like Alan Richardson, okay, who all have reasons to want revenge on the Nazis. And they're all very skilled at what they do. And now they're making their way to a little island where secretly the Germans have been storing the boats that do this. And they're there to stop them. And, it starts off as kind of a zany romp, right? These are crazy guys, over the top violence, over the top actions. They're crazy, just bigger than life kind of characters. And as the movie goes along, I think it gets a little bit more serious because it has to be. Because now we're starting to understand. We're understanding the dangers that they're facing. We're understanding how important this mission is, what it will do to save Britain and frankly save the planet from the Nazis. I like that. It gets a little drawn out towards the end. I'm at 3 waffles.
3 waffles. I can take it. I can dig it. All right, folks, we got to go. The Michael Duke Show. Willie Waffle, thank you, my friend. We will be back again next week. Come out and see me this weekend at the thing. Where am I? Oh, I'm at the outdoor show this weekend at the Carlson Center. If you're in Fairbanks, come on out and say hi. We will be back with more on Monday. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so that's a hard balance, man. I mean, it's when you're trying to do like your full-on goofy, kind of zany, kind of how the trailers show it, but you've got to balance it with some serious stuff later on. That's always a hard balance. You talk about that a lot. You point out a lot of movies where they're like they can't find their way, kind of thing. Does he pull it off?
Oh no, this is why you have somebody like Guy Ritchie, who's a director who's very, very good and understands tone, and that's what he's doing here. Like he understands you can't be crazy over the top when you're facing down the Nazis and it is a life or death situation. Where you are zany over the top is early on, as we learn who these characters are, as we see them in action, as we start to learn just how dangerous they are, how skilled they are, and how they don't care if they die, and that's why they're so good, because they're just willing to do anything that nobody else is willing to do. And they start to kind of, I think he starts to kind of dial that down a little bit because, okay, we're getting closer to where the Nazis are. We understand how dangerous they are. They do a great job explaining what's been going on this island, where the Nazis have basically taken over and are filling the boats with all the materials and all the supplies that the U-boats need, and what they do to the locals and how they've just how they're Nazis. And so as we get closer and closer to that zaniness is going down, that factor is going down, and you're starting to understand the danger and the consequences and the weight of the situation. And that's why you've got such good actors here. I mean, Cavill can do that. Richardson can do that. Itza Gonzalez is in here. She plays kind of the femme fatale who's been hired as a spy to kind of distract the Nazis when they need them to be distracted. I mean, it's a really great cast, a very
Yeah.
talented cast.
Well, I was
and
happy
they make that work.
I was happy to see like Carrie Ewells. I mean, he's got the wink and a nod kind of thing that goes on
Yep.
so well, that he does so well. Is that Ray Fiennes' kid? Is that Hero Fiennes? Is that?
I think it is. I
Yeah.
gotta look that one up. Yeah, Hero Fiennes. Yep. I gotta look him up. I think it might be his kid. And a guy who I really like, and I'm gonna totally butcher his name because I'm not very good at this. Babs Olusan McCone. If you are a fan of Star Trek Strange New Worlds,
Yeah.
you get to see the Doctor doing another role where he's just so smooth and so natural and so good. He plays the he's almost like the Humphrey Bogart character of this movie, where he's kind of the guy who runs the island because he runs the casino and he
Yeah.
knows everybody and they all know him, and thank God he's on our side kind of guy.
I love that. I love that. And let me just say, the Guy Ritchie is one of my favorite directors of all time. And so to see this, and I've seen a lot of, I've been kind of holding off, waiting for your take on this, but I have glanced past some things and seen some headlines like masterpiece, totally perfect, Ritchie is brilliant. All these other kind of things. And I'm just like, oh, it's looking good. Rotten Tomatoes
It's
score
really
is
good.
way up there. I was just like, I gotta stop looking. So I can't wait. I'm super excited about this, and it's in theaters right now.
Yes.
All right. Well, what are you looking forward to? Anything we got looking forward to next week?
Well, next week we've got the Zendaya movie, Challengers, which it's almost like her. I don't know. She's done a lot of grown-up roles, but this is one where she's like, I'm a grown-up, and it's a little bit little randier than some of her other stuff that she's done. Although Euphoria is pretty randy too, so I can't really say that. So that's out there. And then we're gonna get into the summer movie season in just 2 weeks. We're gonna start seeing The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling. We're gonna see The Planet of the Apes the week after that. It's summer movie season in 2 weeks. Just strap on and hold on.
Buckle up, Buttercup. It's that time. All right. Well, thank you, my friend. As always, it is my pleasure to speak with you every Friday. I appreciate it, my friend. We will talk to you. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right.
All right, folks. We gotta go. Again, if you're out and about in Fairbanks this weekend, come see me at the Carlson Center. Otherwise,
goodbye.
We'll see you Monday morning. Have a great weekend.
We've shed our terrestrial radio skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.